Hello everybody and welcome to the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the 2006 Bass Pro Shops MB&A 400 and the 33rd race in our 2006 NR2003 season here. Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. will lead us the green flag as we're green and underway here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Who is going to get the victory here today, and will we see a closing in of the points lead Jimmie Johnson has over the rest of the chase field? We will see, but Tony Stewart out to the early advantage here in Atlanta, clear for the race lead as we go down the back straightaway for the very first time this race. A battle right now for second between Matt Kenseth and the 48-year championship leader of Jimmie Johnson, as Tony Stewart continuing to lead, trying to drive away here to get his third win of the season. Stewart was strong last race at Talladega, getting a top 5 finish, but not quite able to pull off the victory. That was Kevin Harvick in that thrilling photo finish. Now here we are on lap 8, the 17 of Matt Kenseth to the inside, and Matt Kenseth drives his way to the race lead here in Atlanta. He will go by Tony Stewart as Kenseth tries to rebound from just a terrible streak of bad luck this whole run in the chase. He scores 2-time winner this season, but missed the chase because he's had so much bad luck. Crashes that weren't his fault, he got collected in all season. So here he is trying to get a positive end to the year, but the 48 of Jimmie Johnson, our championship leader, to the inside of Matt Kenseth here for the lead on lap 12, and the 48 who has been oh so dominant almost everywhere we go. So consistent, has a lot of luck on his side more often than not, and here he is, Jimmie Johnson to the race lead here at Atlanta on lap 12. 48 to the front of the pack once again, trying to extend his championship lead as he can taste that next L Cup Series championship trophy. And now here on lap 38, here comes the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Thought he was robbed of one last episode at Talladega. Had a really fast car, led a good amount of laps where he got crashed and wrecked. That was not his fault. Now here he is taking the lead from Jimmie Johnson here in Atlanta as he tries to go to victory lane once again. Now the 48 going to answer back. Jimmie Johnson right back to the inside, and Johnson takes the lead back here on lap 41. 48 back to the front here late in stage 1 at Atlanta. Now cautions come out. The 99 of Carl Edwards has crashed with the 14 of Sterling Marlin. He just ran into the 14 who is spun, and our first chaser to DNF out of this race is Carl Edwards in the 99, who's already 10th of the 10 chase drivers in the points. This will all but eliminate him from championship contention officially, as he is done. Sterling Marlin is done. Denny Hamlin did collect some damage, but he will hang in this race as Johnson and Kenseth the front row back underway here on lap 60. Matt Kenseth in the 17 going to take the lead here from Jimmie Johnson on this restart as he tries to pick up the stage 1 victory here in the Peach State of Georgia. But he will lead. Jimmie Johnson, though, can never count him out. That 48 now secures second position. Now I'm going to go get the draft of the 17 and try to chase down Kenseth to make the move to win the stage. And here he is on lap 61. The next stop, Jimmie Johnson to the inside for the race lead. And here comes the championship leader, the 48 of Jimmie Johnson to the inside of Matt Kenseth, looking to take the lead away. He's got help from his teammate, the 24 of Jeff Gordon, as the Hendrick dominance continues. Jimmie Johnson back in the race lead here with just about 11 to go here in stage 1, and Jimmie Johnson takes the lead away from Matt Kenseth as he looks to get his 10th stage win this season, which is exactly what he is going to do. Jimmie Johnson going to dominate and win stage 1 here in Atlanta, his 10th stage win of the year already. Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth the top 5, followed by Greg Biffle, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, Joe Nemechek, and Bobby Labonte the top 10. So Jimmie Johnson, 10 stage wins in 2006, most of all drivers, and extends his championship lead as he gets closer and closer to becoming a champion for the first time in his young career so far. Now we have a restart here, lap 78, the 48 on the inside of Greg Biffle in the 16, who of course has won the last 2 races here at Atlanta, leading the way here as we go into turn 1 and 2. That 16 machine very, very fast. But Jimmie Johnson has been the dominant car all day long, but do keep note, Jeff Gordon and all those guys behind him are on a slightly different strategy. They have slightly fresher tires than the 48 of Jimmie Johnson, so we'll see how long this lead lasts. There are 3 wide here for the second position. Jimmie Johnson still out front of the pack, leading the way here in Atlanta. Coming out of turn 4, contact, and around goes the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr. spinning through the grass, back up the track, and he gets it by Souther into Tony Stewart, the big one. Here we go, dozens of cars piling into each other. Jr. turned back in by Kyle Petty. Kurt Busch collected Michael Waltrip upside down, and Kurt Busch gets rolled over on his lid in a massive Massive pile up here at Atlanta. Takes out Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is having a top 5 run. Huge championship implications for the 8s. As he was going to save it if Elliott Sadler didn't just tag him right there. And he gets right into Tony Stewart, who's your pole sitter. And now the 20 is destroyed. Mark Martin gets put in the wall, collects some damage. So, and then Kurt Busch, of course, was involved. So that's another 4 chase drivers involved in this wreck, which means 5 total chase drivers have had major issues. You see Michael Waltrip already upside down. Vickers ends up flipping Kurt Busch on his roof, who ends up tumbling on his side here in a wild turn of events. So here's Dale Jr.'s Budweiser onboard as he goes flying through the grass and almost saves it, then just gets tagged in this. It's on from there. And a wild, wild ride here. Going to take out the fan favorite who is doing really, really well tonight. Dale Jr. out at Atlanta after this big, big crash. Now here's the Miller Lite on board, the Blue Deuce of Kurt Busch for Roger Penske, coming off that runner-up finish in heartbreaking fashion at Talladega. It was pretty good until he gets drilled here by 3 cars and then flipped on his lid by Brian Vickers, and he finally goes to his side and comes back to rest on all 4s with Kurt Busch down. Here's Tony Stewart's on board, just nowhere to go for the 20 or pole sitter today. Just gets completely taken out, nothing he could have done. And here's Mark Martin's AAA on board, our 4th chaser involved in this crash. Nowhere he could go. Just piles on in and gets taken out in this one. Collects that damage there from Robbie Gordon. Then right there, hitting Dale Jarrett is what's going to do Mark in with that damage. Now here's the Napa on board, Michael Waltrip. This is a wild ride. Hang on. And he finally comes to a rest. Now here's one final look at it. Kane hooking Dale Jr., sending him spinning through the grass, back up the racetrack into the field in a cataclysmic crash, taking out at least a dozen cars involving 4 championship contenders: Stewart, Martin, Kurt Busch, and of course Earnhardt Jr. Multiple cars upside down in this wreck. Wild turn of events here, but it's all playing into the hands of our leader, Jimmy Johnson, the 48, who's just going to continue to pad his championship lead and might put it away. Next few races, he might be able to clinch this championship before we are done with the chase, as Kevin Harvick now, our most recent race winner from that amazing photo finish at Talladega, going to be leading the way here on this restart here in Atlanta, as he's able to beat Jimmy Johnson, who of course is on those older tires. So see how that plays out here. Harvick in the lead, Jeff Gordon behind him now in second as Gordon tries to find his way by into this race lead here. But so far, it's Kevin Harvick in control. But now here comes Jeff Gordon to the inside. The 24 going to try to force his way through to the race lead. And that's what he'll do. Jeff Gordon to the front here in Atlanta as he tries to close in on Jimmy Johnson, his teammate, for this championship. But Kevin Harvick back ahead of Gordon now here on lap 93. Kenseth and Biffle now through to second and third. And now Harvick, held up behind Reed Sorensen, allows Matt Kenseth in the 17 to go back to the race lead. Kenseth to the front here in Atlanta as he uses Reed Sorensen as a pick and goes right back to the front of this field over Jeff Gordon and Greg Biffle here in Atlanta. Now Biffle goes by his teammate of Kenseth for the race lead as they work on lapping their other teammate, the 6 of Mark Martin, who is now 3 wide with Bill Elliott and Elliott Sadler down this front straightaway. But Biffle makes the pass on Mark and will continue his path forwards, leading this race, trying to go for 3 Atlanta wins in a row, which would be quite an incredible feat for the young Roush driver. Kenseth hanging in there, right there behind Biffle, trying to find his way by. Now later, the caution's out. Damage to Jeff Burton and a dozen cars on pit road. Kyle Busch is destroyed. So a huge crash happened that I unfortunately just missed the end of what happened. That's going to knock us down here to less than barely 20 cars left in this race, as now Ryan Newman, Bill Elliott, Travis Quaffle, Jamie McMurray, Casey Mears, Ken Schrader, Kyle Busch, and Jeff Burton are all out of this race. Going to leave us with 22 cars running as Biffle leads over Matt Kenseth late in stage 2. But don't count out Joe Nemechek, David Gilliland, or Bobby Labonte, as this happened in the middle of a pit cycle of 16. Greg Biffle, what is he doing? Your leader gonna pit just as we went green. A perplexing call from Biffle is gonna completely take himself out of contention. He's gonna go a lap down, and now Matt Kenseth is in the lead, only for him to get passed by Joe Nemechek and David Gilliland, as the 48 Jimmy Johnson is in position to unlap himself, get back on the lead lap as he got trapped a lap down due to all the strategy right when that caution hit. And here comes the 38 of David Gilliland for Robert Yates Racing. Of course, replacing Elliott Sadler, who replaced the suspended Jeremy Mayfield in the 19 car. So now Gilliland here in the 38 is going to come through 3 and 4 to get his first career stage win. David Gilliland wins stage 2 here in Atlanta over Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, Joe Nemechek, Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett, Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson, Greg Biffle, Dave Blaney, the top 10. So David Gilliland, first career stage win here at Atlanta in 06 as we go into the third and final stage of racing here from Atlanta, where it's Gilliland alongside Matt Kenseth, the 17, who now on the equal tires easily clears the 38 of Gilliland, and Matt Kenseth in control of this race. Denny Hamlin, I forgot to mention, he got taken out from that crash before the end of the stage. He'll end up in 23rd. So yeah, we're down to half the chase field left, just Hendrick cars, Kevin Harvick, Mark Martin left in this race as Matt Kenseth leads the way here in Atlanta. But here comes the 48 of Jimmy Johnson from the jaws of defeat. He was 1 lap down near the end of stage 2, back on the lead lap, and now back in the lead with 80 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson gets by Matt Kenseth to take the race lead and trying to drive to his 6th win of the season to make a statement, possibly championship winning performance here today in Atlanta, as he will have a massive points lead if he can hold on. Here we are, white flag in the air, final lap presented by Credit One Bank here at Atlanta. We went through a full pit cycle. It did not matter. The 48 still on top. Jimmy Johnson with a 15-second lead over Matt Kenseth on cruise control to victory lane for the 6th time in 2006 as he puts Kevin Harvick 1 more lap down for good measure, and through 3 and 4 for the final time. That championship has never been closer to Team 48 as Jimmy Johnson wins at Atlanta in dominating fashion, his 6th win of the season. Bobby Labonte comes through a lap down in 4th. So basically, Kenseth and Joe Nemechek are 2nd and 3rd. Last cars on lead lap. Then it is Bobby Labonte and Dale Jarrett the top 5, 1 lap down. David Gilliland, Biffle is actually 5th, 1 lap down. Then Gilliland, Jarrett, Casey Kane, 1 lap down, 6th through 8th. Jeff Gordon, 2 laps down in 9th. And Dave Blaney, 3 laps down in 10th. As Jimmy Johnson earns career win number 16, tying him for 40th on the all-time wins list already, leading 134 of 260 laps here tonight, and gets his 6th win of this season, just cementing his championship lead. And he could very well clinch this championship within the next 2 races at Phoenix and Martinsville before we even get to the season finale in Homestead. The final race results are on the left side of your screen. Scroll through and pause if you'd like to see where your favorite driver finished. In a few short moments, you'll see the updated chase standings. So here's the update chase grid. Jimmy Johnson now extends his championship lead to 98 points, well over a full race over Jeff Gordon in 2nd. Tony Stewart, Jeff Burton, Kyle Busch over 100 points out of the lead. Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, Mark Martin, Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards all but eliminated from championship contention with just 3 races remaining in this season. Up next is Phoenix and then Martinsville and Homestead to wrap it up. But this championship is all but Jimmy Johnson's with 3 races to go in this chase for the Cup here in 2006. So congrats to Jimmy Johnson, just further cementing himself as all but the champion here in our series after a dominant win here in Atlanta. Now, as we end this episode, as always, I want to give a shout out to my channel members. So thank you so much to JJ, Brenda Breen, and Jeremy Isley. Really appreciate your guys' support. It means a lot to me. Helps this channel and I continue to grow, produce some awesome content. Now pushing towards 2,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you are watching and are not subscribed, please do subscribe. It's completely free. It only takes a couple of seconds. I would really, really appreciate it. If you want to get your shout out here at the end of the video like these 3 and become a paid channel member, link is in the description down below. Until next episode from Phoenix, I hope you all have a good one.